Welcome to Off Market, a look at the Perth property market from the people who are working in the trenches. Join me, Shane Beaumont, Ross Hunter, and a special guest each fortnight as we dissect the latest property news and break down what's really happening in the different pockets of Perth. If you'd rather watch, you can find us on our Facebook page at Crib Creative Perth. Enjoy.
Come on, Jess. Where's your camera? Your camera's there.
Welcome back to this week's Off Market, the show where we pull no punches. We tell the truth about what's really happening in WA's real estate market. Back with us this week, as always, the wonderful Ross and the wonderful Shane.
That's the nicest thing I think she's ever said to us,
Thanks,
mate.
guys.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. That's wonderful,
today.
Jess.
I know. I'm
Fantastic.
I heard this week, Shane, that your star's really growing. You've been called on by some of the media elite in Australia to lend your knowledge. They've obviously heard about what's going on in Off Market.
I certainly didn't tell you, Jess. But no, it must be the star power of
Off Market.
Yeah. Hooking to the wonderful me.
Don't forget where you've come
That's
from,
right.
Shane.
Yeah,
Never forget it.
Don't
Never
remember
forget
us
it.
when you're famous.
Are you going to just disclose which Century 21 office you're going to?
Well, I'm trying to get Josh Brockhurst for work, so give us a call at Crib Creative.
Charles Tarby. That's who you want to get in touch
Charles will love you. Oh, mate, I've got his number. Do you want it?
Guys, we're in another amazing location today.
We are.
Thanks to Summit Homes, the team at Summit Homes. We're at the Viewpoint, their display in Averley. Beautiful, just
Stunning.
the rake ceiling. It's really stunning. Even Alana was impressed, and she's hard,
Just saying, they've
hard to
blocked,
impress.
obviously,
So.
not the best orientation. They've managed to get the light coming through.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And they've
Beautiful.
got this
Very good.
beautiful C-shaped floor plan as well, so we're kind of looking out over the outdoor entertaining, which is really
Atrium
nice.
effect, one might say.
There you go.
Atrium
Beautiful. Floor to ceiling, windows.
Rake ceilings are back.
effect. Rake ceilings.
Yeah.
Bring back the 80s. That's.
Bringing it back.
That's it.
Yeah.
I like it. And they've got a sunken lounge as well, so
I saw that.
there you go.
Yeah, 80s are back.
This
There you
might be
go.
hard to sell in 20 years' time when it changes.
Yeah.
Because it's back now.
Yeah.
But for a while there, the sunken lounge room was a bit of a no-no.
Yeah.
It's back, but my mum has a sunken lounge room.
That's a problem for
See, if you keep it long enough, mate,
That's right.
it's like fashion.
Marbles
all
Marbles
good.
everywhere.
Yeah, wood's back, mate. It's all good.
Definitely.
Sorry, Jess.
interior designers
Hey,
over
mate.
here. This display is open 1 till 5 on Saturdays and Sundays. So if you want to check it out, head out to Averley. Otherwise, you can contact Summit Homes for more information. We are straight into Under the Hammer. We've got some good results to talk about this week. Roscoe,
Yeah.
have you got any Under the Hammer stories that you want to share before I jump in?
Have you been jumping to my segment, Jess?
Well,
No.
the thing is, you asked us to get some results for you, and I did.
Well, why haven't you given them to me? Because then I could have taken
I
all
got
the
them this.
platitudes.
I got them this morning, to be honest.
Okay, okay. Yeah, look, not really, Jess. I had a couple of auctions, but the auctions are still a bit thin on the ground. So, come on, guys, we've got to get a bit more momentum around this. Shane's about to list about 10 auctions, and we're going to get him on the bandwagon.
I am.
But the auctions are still generally across the board. I guess, stock levels are low as it is, but the auctions are probably at a low ebb than they've been for a long time because as we've come out of COVID, and obviously stock levels are low and days of market have decreased anyway. So it's a bit of a challenge, but the bookings for in September are starting to build up quite strong. So I'm expecting that rush through till the end of the year. But you obviously know some information I don't
Well, I
have.
don't, but I wanted you to talk about.
Can I
under
just
the-
say something about this, Jess? I was speaking to an agent
Yes.
who does like the auction process.
Yes.
And he actually said, whilst he loves the auction process itself, there's another reason why they're looking to go down that route. And that's the fact that obviously when you're listing a great property, at the moment stock levels being really low, the conjunctional agents are popping out day one, trying to bring buyers through, not just because they probably haven't got much stock themselves at the moment, but trying to find their potential vendor a property so they will go to market. So I thought that's quite interesting coming from, again, someone that loves the auction process. That's another reason why they're going that way. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, mate, look, it's true. It's at the end of the day, the one thing, forget the word auction, it is the most pure form to actually protect the seller's interest. Because at the moment, I think we mentioned the other week about, other agents trying to disrupt the process by introducing their buyers, and also the off-market stuff happening. You've got to question really, is that protecting the seller's best interest? And I think at the moment, it is the perfect model to actually do that.
Yeah. Well, I know when I get a call from a conjunctional agent, quite often they say, oh, my client has sent me this property. I'd like to conjunct, which I don't know how you conjunct, because realistically, as an agent, you should be finding that person the property.
Yeah.
But probably for me, the biggest thing is I'd like to think through my experience and my knowledge that I'm probably a better negotiator and going to work better for my client who pays me than someone that's obviously already got a relationship with that conjunctional agent.
Yeah.
There's just simply no way. If they don't know their scenario of the owner, their financial situation, the time frames, the reason they're selling, they simply can't work in their best interest. So I find it ironic that they'd ask for a commission potentially from the person who really they're working to get a better deal from.
Can we just stop there? Because I just want to have you explain for anyone who's watching who isn't a real estate agent, what is a conjunctional sale? Take it back.
Frustrating sometimes. Other than that, no. Conjunctional agent, basically, they pop up, they have the buyer. Typically, they're coming to the person who's the listing agent looking after the seller. Where the lines get a bit murky is obviously, as a seller, you pay the agent. And now, if I have a conjunctional agent come along with someone else, it's actually the owner of the property which is going to be dividing the income and paying them. So when that agent starts to work with the person they already have a relationship as a buyer, it's very hard for them to say, well, I'm working for the seller. Quite often they're trying to get a better deal. And what we've spoken about this before, now knowing that's the case, and the conjunctional I think is potentially going to become extinct. It's controversial, but potentially. But they're going to be retained more because they are working in the best interests of the person they have the relationship with. So rather than splitting the income or the commission from the seller, they'll simply go, well, I'm going to work for my buyer, you work for your seller, somewhere in the middle, we're going to shake hands. And I think that just clears the line, like a buyer's agent.
And that's it, and that's where the purity of it comes in. If somebody wants to be a professional buyer's advocate, I think that's
like on the block.
You see a lot of that in
So a
Victoria
buyer's advocate, the difference is a buyer's advocate is being retained by the
by
buyer.
the
They're not
buyer.
being paid by the seller.
And there's complete transparency. They're working for the buyer. Shane is working for the seller. And that's where the whole auction process is pure, because if they've got a buyer, fantastic, and they're being retained by the buyer, but they're they have to compete like anybody else in the way you go.
And the history of that would be of doing a conjunctional sale would be prior to everything being online. It was more difficult for a buyer to view properties.
They didn't know it was out there.
They didn't know it was out there, so they had an agent working on their behalf.
I remember when my mum was selling, when I was about 5 years of age, I think you had to have like the lock on the tap,
lockbox.
And then you had to have your home presented well all the time, because at any point they could just come through. It was just there, you knew the code. Everything was a 3x1, close to schools, close to shops. Now, realistically, if your buyer's serious, they're going to know what's coming to market, because they're going to be living on there, whether it be development sites, whatever it is. So the days of owning the buyer, I think.
So then why? Because I've heard this come up on a Facebook forum this week, where an agent was doing a home open and another agent rocked up with some buyers and without calling. So the question was, what's the etiquette? And then why is this coming up because stock levels are low? Why is this?
I think becoming desperate. Because typically if I've got buyers, I want to show them, and I get calls saying, Shane, I haven't sold, I've been on the market for 90 days. Can you bring your buyers to my property? Now they're listed with someone else. Why would I take a potential buyer to someone else listing when my clients are paying me? I work for my clients. So that's where I think it gets a bit, confusing. And stock levels being low fees starting to creep in many circumstances in more tightly held areas. They're thinking, well, one, I've got to try and get a sale, but also potentially get the listing, because if I can get you to find something, then you will sell. So that's probably, where it comes from.
Interesting.
Conjunctional rates, when I first came in the industry, were 60-40 and it was 1%. The reason it's come down so much is, realistically, you're not finding the property.
Which is the hardest thing to do.
Of course it is,
that's the gold in this business, is to obtain
and get the trust from that owner to say, yes, we should put it on for that way. We should go down that method. So for really good agents, I'd be frustrated if people just started rocking up to my home opens. I say, I'm not saying I've got the golden rule, but if my client says, Shane, I want to find something, I say, look, you find it, I'll help you through the process, give you some advice, but I don't want to conjunct, because I will compromise you getting the best deal, for one. And also, I want that agent to work as hard as they can to get the owner to accept your offer, not be going, well, I'm not getting full commission potentially if I go with Shane's buyer's offer. And it does happen. We know that happens.
Okay. Interesting. Very good. We also, now you sent through an article in the Fin Review about a sale that was Julie Fair closed from Realmark Dunsborough. $2.3 million, property in Dunsborough. Sold within 3 days. Buyer didn't even view the property.
Yeah.
Walked past this. I was down south last week.
Did you?
Saw
And
this
did you put
property.
an offer in?
No, I was beaten to it.
It was you.
Beaten to it.
What does this say about? I've also got some results here, just to quickly run through them. Damien Lloyd from Ray White North Quay sent through some of the great results he's had in the last week.
Great.
One in Innaloo, 4 days on market, 4 offers, sold for a record price for the street. Another in Stirling, 15 days on market, 5 offers received.
Yeah.
This is a very, very different conversation to what we were having 6 months ago on this show.
Yeah.
Tell me what this kind of...
Well, I guess what I'm saying, what I don't understand for the life of me, the doom and gloom in the media saying the market's terrible. I hand on heart say it's the best conditions this market has, or the market's been in since 2014. The prices might not be necessarily the best, but the conditions are.
Yeah.
Fair time on markets down to I saw 45 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year was like 90.
78. It wasn't
that's
6
crazy.
months ago. The average days on market was 78.
Yeah.
It's dropped to that.
So I don't know where the media is saying that it's in turmoil and free fall, because we're seeing properties that we're actually getting on the phone going, look, last year I know you couldn't get your price, come to market, and they're getting it. So how is that? Conditions are better. Prices I can't say obviously back to 2014, unfortunately.
No.
But I do believe if it stayed like this, take negative equity, and we've mentioned that before, the urgency is there. And it's not how long you've been on the market, it's how long that buyer's been looking. And that's why you get results like that.
Which
they know.
then, Shane, and we all know, as this continues, the recovery of pricing will happen. You know, it's just economics. It's how it works. And we are seeing in some of the more blue chip areas, if you like, we are seeing that recovery's there. We are seeing many properties sell now that were sold 2, 3, 4 years ago for the same money, if not more. So obviously, as you further out, you go that takes more time, but that recovery is well and truly on the way.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But coming back to the property that we saw in the film
Sorry,
review,
yes.
that Julie, and I know Julie, she's a fabulous agent in Dunsborough, that sold in the first 3 days for 2.3 million. That whole discretionary money thing, it's not even really necessarily about discretionary money at the moment. It's about people recalibrating life.
Yes.
We always talk about areas like Dunsborough and those the holiday markets as discretionary money, which is what they're traditionally driven by. But now, as everybody's stymied to what does the future hold? How freely will we travel throughout the world? And more so the people that buy those sort of properties are used to this time of year being in Europe and wherever, going for the Northern Hemisphere. Now, we all know that's off the cards now. And how long will it be off the cards? We don't know. And even when it does come back online, how much will be back online? So people are making decisions now about their lifestyle. So these sort of sales are not about, is there more discretionary money in the market? This is about how life will be moving forward. So like I was in Dunsborough, I mean, Shane, you were there last weekend. I was there a couple of weeks ago. Now, normally this time of year, half the restaurants are shut, people go on holidays. And whatever. It's busier than Christmas.
Do you think it's a great thing for local tourism, but do you think, we look at the locals in Swanbourne who are up in arms about North Street Store, or, like the local that take over the streets and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Do you think the locals are going to be stoked that tourism's up, or do you think they're going to be going, what a nightmare for our town?
I think a bit of both. I think if it wasn't for the circumstances behind, I guess, the activity down there is probably what the biggest concern was. So they were more concerned about people coming with COVID, changing, going through the regions, I think they called it.
Yeah, the regional.
That was probably the bigger concern than having a bumper tourism area. But I think people have got to spend their money. Bali's off the cards. Broom's going gangbusters. If you look at Broome, unfortunately I'm not going to Broome, but friends of ours, they managed to get a room, but I think they booked out to end of October. Yeah. I know 3 people alone that have bought properties in Broome. Now, I can't remember the last time
You don't get the quality of property like that in Broome, though. If people are looking for that kind of
this
thing.
is the thing, you probably might start to see
You
it.
might start to see it. You'll start to see the development happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's the new, but yeah, at the end of the day, Jess, it's the new world order.
It's the new.
But to put that in perspective, like for down south, Dunsborough's stunning, amazing part of the world, or our southwest. I think some investors have got that wake up call to go, hang on a minute, if they've got I think Bustleton's got the airport going in eventually. Yeah. If you're going to be 3 hours away from Melbourne, you're going to start to see some interstate money come in, no question. It's probably a bit more attractive than Barossa, sorry, South Australian real estate agents, but it's not just wineries, they've actually got beautiful coastlines. But that property, realistically, for 2.3, I would say Mandurah, Rockingham would still be 118. So you're getting down the most amazing coastline for 2-3. On the face of it, it's pretty good buying.
Yeah, and it's pristine location.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's on the front.
Beautiful. Good one.
Good.
That was actually in the industry and under the hammer smushed
Hybrid.
into one long segment.
Beautiful.
We are on to the real press. This
Yep.
is where we dissect a headline that has caught our eye. And again, Roscoe, this one's come through from you from the Fin Review. This is a national perspective. So the article that you sent is about affordable housing.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Jess.
Go.
No, I think it's really important, and I think you agree, Shane, that we do have a perspective of the broader market, not just sort of local, because and also at the moment what Australia is going through, the knock-on effect is all around the place, and we have to look at the whole thing. And I just find this article quite fascinating about affordable housing, because it is going to be it's a big driver. It's going to be bigger. When you look at it, and a lot of people don't realise that, like the budget comes out on October 6th. Now, the government have put a lot of energy to recalibrate how this affordable housing thing works. So they've got $1 billion set aside to do this. Now, they've only spent 200 million of it. So they've got 800 million to continue to put in it. But they want to grow this whole affordable housing thing. Because there's some interesting statistics here that I think are worthy of just sharing. According to the data, Australia's social housing shortfall of about 433,000 properties, about 116,000 people are homeless any given night. Now, from a social conscious point of view, that's frightening in a place like Australia. And we take it for granted that everybody's okay. And I when I read these things, yes, this program and it's all about the market. We always try and be positive, but when I see this, it is sobering, and it's something I think we need to pay more attention to be honest, because out of COVID, we know that, like, for example, unemployment's at 10% right now. It's probably going to sit at maybe up around 15, and Australia's used to unemployment being in those 3-4 sort of percent. We're going to have to get used to unemployment numbers being at 10% maybe more. That might be the new norm for a long time, because all these companies that won't pull out of it, and the airlines and the hospitality and all the rest of it, you can't just manufacture new industry overnight. So this whole thing of affordable housing is going to be absolutely massive, and I think we all need to be aware around it of what this really means, and where we can support it, we should.
Do you think, Shane often has spoken about the lack of awareness of some of these schemes and how people can access them? Is that 800 million is a lot of money that's unspent? How much of that is down to, maybe programs that aren't being
Well, I think I
promoted
spoke about
well,
it a few episodes back. Last year, I did 92 deals and did 2 Keystart. All right. Last month, I did 4 Keystart alone out of 13 deals. So something's changing there, that they are getting the awareness. Obviously, they've changed the criteria, and we've spoken about that. But what really concerns me is, in WA, we're back to 2007 prices, 2006, let's say. So if prices kept going, can you imagine how hard it'd be? Like, first home buyers at the moment can get a house up at one on the market today, 3x1 on 600 square metres, 245,000, not a villa, a house. Now, our median house price now is lowest other than Darwin, I think. We've just gone below South Australia. So if we're having homeless at this level, it's pretty concerning, because Sydney, the median house price, 850,000. That's going to be, if we don't get on top of it now, it's never going to happen. So I think it's really important that these schemes need to be well marketed, because they're under marketed at the moment. But also policies in place so we don't have small ghettos, which is also another big concern. That's just state housing or whatever it may be. You've actually got to be really smart with the planning of where they go. And it's not fair to certain areas to just put them all in one area. It's been well documented. A lot of the suburbs aren't happy about where they're going, but it also has to be fair to those other areas too, because eventually it does impact values a lot of the time, unfortunately.
And I'd like to see more collaboration with the government, with our industry, around how they actually get this out. Sometimes, like, these articles are hidden in the Financial Review and so forth. I go, why aren't these
they're hidden
articles
behind a paywall that if you're not affording housing, then you're not affording to see what's going on in there.
And that frustrates me, because the government need to, and our industry need to talk more. So as you say, Shane, it's got to be more publicised. So, Like, for example, at the moment, like Brad Triplett, who'll be on the show a few weeks from Arena.
He's seen a lot of that
Arena
shared
Real
equity,
Estate.
isn't he?
Brad's doing a lot of the affordable housing, the apartments there that the government are building in different areas like Beckenham, some in Bayswater, all sorts of places, out more sort of the east corridor. And they're selling out of these complexes in like a dozen or 20 apartments in a month. You know, these average from 250 to 350. So it'd be interesting Brad's take on it. But there's not enough people know about this stuff. And we need it. We need more oxygen around it so people are aware and can tap into it. Otherwise, it's going to be a catastrophe out there.
Yeah,
so,
agreed.
Socially.
Thank you, Ross.
Okay.
You've always got some words of wisdom for us.
We try, don't we, mate? Every now and then we have something. But
Try.
Every now and then. All right, guys. From a little bit of a somber, serious discussion, on to our hood highlight for this week. We want to welcome our special guest, Shane Penny. You're up.
Come on down,
Come
mate.
on down.
I've always wanted to say that.
We are out in Averley today, so we've got Averley's #1 agent, Shane Penny of Team Penny from HKY Real Estate. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we always on this show try to focus on a certain suburb and really break down the market there. And this is the first time we've really been into the outer suburbs of Perth, I guess. Only a 30-minute drive down the freeway though now.
Now with the Tonkin's through, yep.
Yep, now that Tonkin's there. So tell us.
I was wondering how I got here so quick. I have sold properties there, and it's not taking me a lot longer, but there you go.
It's
30
certainly made a
minutes.
big help out this way now.
That's
Getting
great.
in and out of here. Yeah, it's great.
So how has that changed things for you guys out here?
Well, I suppose just brought the city that bit closer to Ellenbrook. The main problem was actually getting out of here in the mornings and getting back in. It was all choked up. Now that we've got the Tonkin Highway, we've got the Lord Street. That's all come on. It's just traffic's flowing, and it's taking those travel times. Right back.
Beautiful. So this Averley used to be part of Ellenbrook, is that correct?
No.
Or no?
Ellenbrook was a master plan community, award winning. Averley's a private estate that was originally done through Multiplex.
Okay.
They actually went bust on the deal, and we've got Stockland now who bought them out and are continuing to sell land out here.
Right. So what are the demographics like out here? Talk us through.
Obviously, you've got a large first-home buyer market, so it's quite affordable. You've got a big downsizer market. A lot of families have built out here, and grandma and grandpa are now sort of selling the bigger home on the bigger block, and buying something that they can downsize, lock and leave, and help out with the grandkids.
Do you think that'll increase now because of that accessibility?
Absolutely, yeah. We've already seen it.
Because I sort of felt when selling a few display homes years ago, it was like, if you're there, it's got everything. But if you wanted to leave, it was a bit harder.
Yes.
But having that commute, surely it would open up a lot.
100%. If you're looking at travelling to, say, a suburb like Morley, it was a 35-minute exercise.
And
It's
even the
now-
airport, I guess.
Yeah, airport.
Obviously, fly in, fly out.
big fly in,
Hopefully
fly
stay
out.
strong.
Yeah, big fly in, fly out congregation out of here. Yeah.
So what kind of property out here is hot, and what's not so hard to? What's not?
I'd say
easy
the lower priced property in the marketplace, let's say 450 and under, is selling very, very well. We've got a diverse type of homes out here. You've got lifestyle blocks that go for upwards of 800,000, and then you look at the vines, you're looking at over $1 million. So there's that lifestyle large 1,000 to 4,000 square metre block, but the predominant stuff is the 4-bed, 2-bath on around 450 square metres.
So there is under Averley as a suburb, there are those size lots.
There's about probably 32,000 square metre lots that border the suburb of Averley. Yeah.
The Keystart stuff that we were talking about before, do you get a lot of those kinds of affordable housing scheme sales?
Probably not as many as you'd probably think. There's with money being pretty cheap at the moment. I would suggest that, a bit like Shane was saying, that I've probably only done this year maybe 3 or 4 Keystart loans.
It's amazing that like 2%, and obviously through these areas, I guess there's a few investors that have brought obviously new homes. In many circumstances, money is cheaper. They're probably better off buying than renting.
Absolutely.
But I think they get caught up and they go to the bank and they hear about that 10%, 5%. It's bloody hard to save if you're paying rent.
Yep.
But that Keystart at 2%, do you think if the awareness in this area or demographic you're dealing with knew about it, do you think it'd increase sales?
I think it would, but I also think we've still got a lot of building going on out here. So I think you'll find that Keystart product is in the new house and land packages. Yeah.
But that's why, and we spoke about this again last episode, are you seeing situations where people are building a property that is probably going to be worth less than what something already built is, already on the market for?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's, with the government handouts and the like, I think a lot of people have explored the market, the new homes market, and have sort of realised that there's so much more value in the established market right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
Can I ask you guys a quick question on Keystart? With, do they still do shared equity?
well, they do, but they tend to have that shared equity on their own product.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Brad's doing. He's got a few complexes I've seen.
Yeah, but at the moment, all the stuff he's doing, I asked him this question the other day, all the development he's got at the moment is none of it's shared equity, it's all just
Individual. Is that government funded then? Like,
these come
so
out.
Keystart have actually, well, WA government has actually built it
Yes.
for that.
Affordable housing.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Have
not.
you had anything like that out here? No.
No.
If you're selling, obviously you guys are working on behalf of your sellers. If you've got two offers on the table and one's a kind of Keystart versus, is this a question I'm allowed to ask?
Yeah.
Is one more attractive than the other?
I'll ask you the question, Jess. If I was to bring you two offers, one was a 2% deposit, the other one was a cash offer.
Yeah.
Where
okay.
are you going?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it does have a bearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's almost like the subject sale.
Yep.
You're going to have to pay more probably to get over the line. But one thing about the Keystart, and this is not a Keystart, it's a TV show, but the rigmarole to get pre-approved through Keystart, you actually almost have to get to the point of valuation before you'll get in a position to go for a loan.
The reason I asked that question is because I bought through Keystart 15 years ago, and the settlement period ended up being 3 months or more.
It used to be a lot longer.
It was a nightmare, and I, as a seller, if I knew that was going to be the process, I would be very much put
they've
off
got
by
better,
that.
but it's in actual fact, only Keystart you're really getting through here are probably through building.
The majority of
yeah,
it will be
yeah.
through the building. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the rigmarole to get pre-approved is pretty, like, you've got to have all these criteria. Whereas I think we're the ones that get the bad name for a Keystart buyer, is they go, oh yeah, I've looked at Keystart and I've got 2%, but they haven't actually gone through and done all those other checks.
Yes.
Have you done your
Okay.
tax return? Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I own this, but I've got 3 cars, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's
Been
what
betting
we
on the
thought.
horses.
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah, I own horses.
yeah. So Shane, in around here, what's your buyer demographic? Is most of it owner occupied? Do you have some investors, and what's the rent? What would be the rental market?
I haven't seen an investor for 18 months. They're just not in the marketplace at the moment out here. So yeah, mainly, like I said, the big first home buyer, a lot of downsizers, and then you've also got, it's a nice family suburb. So you've got those families that
That's
that
exactly
are out
right.
there as well.
I think that's a really good point. That because you are getting people that want to live in them, you're not going to get that little precinct which you have in most suburbs where they've gone high density. So let's say in Uluru they've gone R80. That street, you can almost guarantee in the next 3 years, it's not going to be looking great because eventually it's going to be knocked down and that. But actually coming and knowing that you are living next to people that take pride of ownership does make a big difference.
Yeah, but there's still, there's plenty of investment properties out here, and
Probably from the earlier stages, would
yeah,
they?
yeah. So the older parts of Ellenbrook,
Okay. And mate, sorry, Jess.
You
One
go.
question, just out of curiosity, because it's such a big topic, the rail. How will the rail get into this area? What's the route?
It'll be coming up Lord Street from Morley up through the new suburbs, Brabham. There'll be a station in Brabham, and then the end of the line will be in Ellenbrook. It'll come up Drumpellier and link into the sort of main hub of Ellenbrook, where the shopping centres and that are.
It's a good question. I want to ask this. When I first came into real estate, they were talking about the train line in Mandurah. And obviously a lot of sellers thought when the train line gets open and Mark McGowan or whoever it was back then cuts the ribbon that the prices go up. Has the anticipation of that coming impacted price, or not so much impacted price because nothing's really gone up, but given a tick to see families come here that might not have thought about it?
I don't know the railways had that effect yet, but certainly the opening of the Tonkin, which I imagine once the railways open, I think, it will be desirable to be able, those people living in or working in the city, finding easy access in and out every in the morning by public transport.
Because I think that's sometimes, whether it be zoning changes, people think and agents, I think, can be guilty of this. When they talk about a pocket going to R40, it's not actually when they stamp it at the last council meeting that prices change. Never in the share market. If Rio Tinto said in 2023 we're opening the world's biggest mine for this, it's not when they cut the ribbon and they start. It's actually the anticipation. So I think in these sort of areas, young families, they can get in knowing that's coming for a lifestyle thing.
Well, now it's coming because it's been coming for 10 years. It's now it's coming. So it is. We hopefully that anticipation will start to increase. Yeah.
Beautiful. Roscoe,
Yo.
you're up, mate.
Okay.
It's your section. What under the hood with
Shane,
Ross?
Shane, this is the most important.
Okay.
Mate, this
I
is,
know.
I thought you were
That's what I mean. I was like, I know how important
Shane
it
knows
is.
the section.
This is like V1 and V2. Shane 1, Shane 2. Okay. So Shane Penny.
Shane B and Shane P.
Yeah, exactly. So, mate, the most important questions everybody wants to know. So, number one question we always say is, out of adversity comes the train thing's the classic. Out of adversities come opportunity. That's COVID has pushed the government a bit harder to do this. And in life, out of our biggest stuff ups, we learn things. What's been something it's happened, you've done, it's been a great learning experience from the stuff up, if you like?
From a stuff up? Oh, look, well, the one I had prepared was obviously getting to your home opens and having a nice home open, and then, you got your next one in a 15-minute time slot.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than locking your car keys inside the home with the keys to the house inside the home.
Nice.
There was some pressure to get to the next home open, and I suppose it's just got to be a bit prepared with not rushing at the end of home opens.
What did you do? Did you leg it or?
No, straight onto my old man, Dave. Get up to the office, get me some. There was spare keys for this house, luckily. Got me down there, and so I was just a little bit late for the next.
So at that
home
point, your
Is it
man
that?
probably said, "I'm still changing your bloody name
Yeah.
at this age." Yeah. In fact, we saw a stuff up today from a learning, didn't we, Jess?
Oh,
Didn't we,
yeah.
Ilana? So behind our camera, young Chris.
He's going to start to shake. So if you get motion
prepares
sickness.
a beautiful list of all his equipment for the first time. A beautiful list of all his equipment, and he here we go, and we all get here ready. And for the first time, he's got a list, and he leaves half the equipment at the office. So,
Four little things.
Lucky for Tonkin Highway,
I
mate.
was just
lucky for you. Okay, Shane, the next thing. What are the three things you would never leave home without?
Well, real estate agents, always the mobile phone. I'd like to think a good attitude. And,
He's my man. I love that.
and my other thing, which is a bit strange, people find it weird, but it's my lucky rock.
Hey!
Mate,
I love that.
Every day, just reminds me to, be a good bloke.
did you have your lucky rock when you forgot the keys?
I did, but it just wasn't working.
It was lucky his dad answered the phone.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
it. Hey, Dave came to the rescue. Mate. I love that. I love the attitude.
The good
Love
thing
rock.
is about if you do have that situation in some areas, like if I'd locked my keys in a property and I'd raced, there's a good chance there'd be no one at the next home open anyway. So I was actually pretty lucky.
And while I was running late because someone turned up right at the end of the night.
Shock.
So, mate, next question. Worst habit.
Oh, it's got to be my desk. It's an absolute disgrace.
Is it?
Mike, who's just off camera there, who's my business partner. He's the one that's all organised, but me.
He's shaking his head.
It's a disgrace.
But I know where everything is.
That's
I know what's going on. And I'm
You
chopping
know where
and
that bit of paper with that little note on
Yep,
it is? Yeah?
yep,
Organised chaos.
Yes, pretty much.
Pretty much. Fantastic, mate. When you're not at work in the world of real estate, where do you hang out? What's happening?
Warmer months, my happy place is the beach. I can't get enough time there, so any downtime, I like to hit the
How
beach.
far is the beach from here?
25 minutes. I wish it was a lot
not too
closer,
bad.
but it's not.
Does Tonkin help that?
No,
No, it doesn't.
No.
Just straight.
no, just the other way.
You got an Armadale, that's it.
I have recently, past 2 years, taken up golf. I'm a member out at the Vines Real Estate, so
How's the
like to get
Vines
out
going
there.
these days? Is the development stuff? Is it? I used to play it there a lot. Is it? How's it tracking out there?
Yeah, we've got a new what would you call him, CEO, Wayne Smith, who was an ex-pro.
Yeah.
Is he from South Bay? It's no Ryan Smith's dad, is it?
Yeah.
It is, yes. And the course is looking a lot better. There's talk of maybe a another competition coming out this way. So
because that used to be
good.
the Vines Classic. Was amazing.
It was Ernie L's days, wasn't it?
Ernie Els, Greg Norman, all the boys were there.
John Daly.
Yeah.
Daly.
Sorry, we digress. But anyway,
Whenever Ross has got one of his mates on here, we end up talking about golf.
well, it's important. Come on, Jess, get with the plan.
It's a crazy sport. We go out there to relax, but I'll tell you what,
Good way to ruin a walk.
Yeah.
Mate, when you walk on the course, you've got to make a vow to yourself. I can't walk off the course with a worse attitude or a worse mood than I started with.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's my de-stress, and I don't know why we do it, but we do it.
Yeah, exactly. So we can have a beer at the end of it. That's why we do it. Most of you say, mate, what's something that you say or people say, oh, God, not that saying again?
So what do you reckon the seller would take?
Yeah, okay, beautiful. End of story. I think we'd all agree with that one.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Do you get food for thought much out here? It's food for thought.
No, not really. No.
Food for
Food
thought.
for
If
thought,
I do, I don't hear it.
It's something to think about.
Yeah. Okay. Mate, and this
The one I did like that's gone
Yeah.
from when I started real estate was She'll Be Right. I love that one.
She'll Be
Because
Right.
you do your final inspection.
Nothing's right.
Patio's not approved. She'll be right. It's gone.
No.
It's gone.
None of that.
I don't think anything in this current climate, nothing's going to be right.
But the Aussie vernacular, she'll be right, it meant something.
It's probably not the game for.
No, not anymore.
It's
And
too
mate, the most
litigious these days.
The most important question, which this is for Shane and I, our benefit really isn't, mate. Yeah. Best place, go for a meal, best food, best dish, restaurant, what is
I've
it?
never had a miss. Odyssey down at City Beach.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the
spot.
dish?
Oh, look, it's a side dish. It's these potatoes.
He's prepared.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at
I can't
the
forget
body
it.
language. He's salivating.
I'm telling you, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
They've got it like thinly sliced
Yeah.
with this oil and this parmesan. Oh, God. Yeah.
That
Gotta
sounds like my
Gotta
kind of
get 'em.
dish.
There you go.
That's around the corner.
what about
from my house.
local?
I'm going there tonight.
Locally, look, I won't nominate just one, but there's plenty. You go out to the Swan Valley there, you've got restaurants galore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good coffee in the area?
Absolutely, yep. I share myself around the cafes, so there's a couple of local ones that I frequent.
Good to hear.
Beautiful.
So fantastic. Thanks, mate.
Love
worries,
that.
beautiful.
Love it. All right. We are just about to wrap up, but before we do, we do have a play of the week this week. We're bringing it back.
Right.
Now, it would be remiss of us to end this show without doing this play of the week. If anyone's been watching the news or keeping an eye on Instagram and saying,
Watching the news.
sorry, reading Perth Now, which isn't the news,
Okay.
let's be honest, but Australia's Sexiest Agents Instagram.
Yeah.
We've got to give a shout out to Brad Triplett, the only
Yeah.
WA. Actually, I think there's one up. But Brad Triplett and
We've
Vanessa
mentioned
Barry.
him 3 or 4 times today.
I know. Well, he's coming on the next show. So,
know,
but we thought,
Was it on Perth?
well done to Brad. Shane's like, bloody hell, fuck, wish I'd got on there
No,
now.
they followed me the other day, but I don't think they might have been looking for someone I tagged off the show.
Brad Triplett, apparently, according to the photo, when he's not running marathons, he's running through your girlfriend's mind.
You know, Jess.
Is that-
the sad truth about that? It's he's a bad lad.
As long as that's
Anyway.
as long as that's not the bio on his arena
Yeah.
real estate.
Arena real estate.
Yeah, no,
We'll have to
no.
ask Josh about that one.
No, look. Brad spends most of his off time at church and things like that. He's a very holy man. I'm
We'll
just
ask him
resting
about
you there,
that.
mate.
We'll ask him about that on the show next time. So that is it. Any play of the week from you guys?
No, that was it.
That was it.
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Shane,
Thanks for
for
coming
your
in.
Thanks for having
time.
us.
Thanks again to Summit Homes for hosting us at the Viewpoint out here in Averley.
Yeah.
And any results, auction results, sales results, funny stories,
them
play
through.
of the week, send them through. That's it. See you in a
Done.
fortnight.
Well, that's-
Thank you. Thanks, Shane.